Good evening, boys and girls, and welcome to a super late edition of Nightmares on Access.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So today, so like from last week, we went over about the rules. And it's time for us to delve a little bit further about the rules and what it implies to. Like my colleague and I went over, the unsportsmanlike conduct is any type of unsportsmanlike conduct. Anything from horse collar. Yeah, everything from horse collars to clipping, targeting, taunting. Those are unsportsmanlike conducts. Those are 15-yarders. Those are the big ones.
Or the ever popular that we've seen in football. They have no business. What were we thinking? Tackle when the play is over, all the way across the other side.
A late hit. Another one we're going to talk about is the next biggest one. Holding calls and anything of the sort. It doesn't matter if it's an offense or a defensive hold. A hold is a hold, and that's 10 yards. False starts will count as 10 yards against you.
False starts are usually 5. I don't. That to me that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No, false start should only be 5.
Yeah, but
if you're going to go pro rules, if you're going to go college and pro rules, you don't add anything extra.
No.
False starts are 5. I've never seen a false start penalty be worth 10 yards. Never.
Mm-hmm.
In all of high school, in all of football that I've watched and called, false starts have never been 10 yards. Never. Holds, yes. Those are 10 yards. Or an automatic first down. That I get. But false starts? 10 yards on a false start?
Roughing the kicker, roughing the passer, kick catching interference. Those are 10-yard penalties, no matter how you slice it. You don't ever rush the quarterback when the ball leaves his hands. If the ball leaves his hands, you stay away. If you roughing the kicker, that ball, if he kicks that ball, you don't ever touch his foot.
You don't touch him. That's an automatic 15. It's an automatic 15 and a first down. Automatic.
Kick catching interference.
Yep.
If somebody calls for a fair catch, and you're blocking their way to making it, guess what?
That's 15 yards. Automatic. They take it from where they take it from where the kick was fair caught and move it up 15 yards from that spot.
Now
And you basically
we now come to the 5-yard ones. The little itty bitty ones that many people have so-called gotten away with, it's ridiculous. False start.
5 yards.
Encroachment.
Easy. 5 yards. Easy.
Neutral zone infraction.
Neutral zone infraction. Well, everybody moves except for the center.
Oh boy.
Illegal snap. The illegal snap where the center messes with the ball when they're not supposed to.
Yep.
You know how the center could always try to fudge and move the ball just a little bit while the quarterback's trying to make his cadence, and he snaps the ball. And how many times have you actually seen that call?
I've seen them calls, but once in a blue
Not as often as it should be.
yeah, but every once in a blue moon you will get it everybody but the center penalty.
Yup. That's basically along the lines of false start.
Yeah.
Because if everybody's moving
But
the center,
oh boy.
it's still a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, and you better believe you'll wind up on ESPN one way or another.
Or, if the coach is really ticked off at you, you'll wind up on the bench. Because most old school coaches ain't going to put up with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know our coaching staff ain't going to put up with it.
Nope. And then there's two two fouls is in the category of their own. And it's the pass interference call. Whether offensive...
Call that they can't seem to get right at all.
For defense...
Some are obvious. And then there are some that look clean, but they call it.
Yeah. And folks... There's a difference you might need to know. You gotta create some separation. If you're gonna do it within 5 yards, it'll be fine. But 5 yards and
once you get past that 5 yard chuck line, once you get out of that 5 yard box, and the chuck stops being allowed, that's where the flag comes in. Because once you get past the 5 yard box, that means you cannot be handsy. Not hip check, you cannot tackle it.
You cannot grab and then, especially in the pros case, you cannot grab the jersey and hold on.
Oh no, because that's defensive holding.
Yeah, but it's also been used. But it's also been used. It's also been used in defensive pass interference.
Yep.
And believe me, it happened in an NFC Championship game that cost the Saints that game. It was a controversial call, though, but it cost them the game.
Yeah. Nikel Roby-Coleman should have gotten flagged because you basically wiped out one of their best receivers and should have got flagged for it.
Yep, that was
They never got flagged for it. Saints didn't get their touchdown. Next play, Drew Brees throws an interception. Rams get a field goal. And then we find out how much of a fraud they really were. Because the Patriots held them to 3 points. So in truth, would I have rather seen the Rams make the Super Bowl? No. I would have rather seen Brady versus Brees in the Super Bowl. That would have been fun, GOAT versus GOAT. But we didn't get that.
Nope.
We got GOAT versus fraud.
No, we got
now where he is traded to the Detroit Lions. And speaking of trades, I found this out yesterday. Well, a couple of days ago. Well, I think we discussed this one briefly.
Yeah.
But Deshaun Watson is out of Houston.
Yep.
He is now the most likely starting quarterback in Denver. Cases permitting. Wink, wink.
Yep.
Because he still has to settle that little hoopla out of court.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's going to be most likely Watson, Bridgewater, and Drew Lock.
Yo, boy.
Unless a team is so desperate they're willing to trade for him. But basically, Drew Lock's time in Denver is over.
Oh, but here's the thing.
Number 3 QB on the depth chart.
Yeah, but here's the thing. An article in Sharon.
Uh-oh.
Apparently, 3 days ago, the Texans canceled minicamp. And also saved Deshaun Watson $93,000 in fines. And that's a whopper. Because he has missed minicamp many times. He missed OTAs. He missed workouts. That totals up to $93,085 that he would have to pay out of his paycheck. By the time that the league will realize that the Texans had canceled, we'll find out if Deshaun Watson would have skipped minicamp next week. Yep, and that's exactly what had happened. He would have wound up on the hook for $93,085. The NFL don't play. Right, Luther? Oh, boy. Hold on just a second, folks. I think my colleague just dropped off. a second, folks. And please bear with me. Sorry about that.
What, your phone died, or did somebody decide to unplug your phone?
No. I actually was looking up Final Sharon. And it finds out, and if Deshaun wants to skip another minicamp next week, the Texas organization would have fined him $93,000 in fines.
Well, wait. I thought he was already traded.
Yeah, but he still had OTAs with Houston.
Wait.
This was from 3 days ago before the trade happened. Yeah.
So, okay. What's Denver giving Houston back for Watson?
Yes?
Because I didn't see anything. Unless I missed it in the story.
Give me
that. I know I sent it to you.
Alright, hang on. Let's check and see.
And Russ Wilson and Sean McVay trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube. What the heck are they talking about? From the soccer world today. A player from the Euro Cup tournament collapsed on the field. And the match was suspended. Love the breaking picture. Outside.
I found out when they traded Deshaun Watson, guess who they got in his place? Alright. And folks, I'll be back in just a minute, so don't touch that dial. And we're back. Other rules that you might want to follow on, and we might want to get a little more depth into it, is the simple rule of everybody stay on the ball. That means you gotta line up even with the center. Because if you don't,
you're gonna get flagged for movement. That's where that false start comes into play.
Yeah. And what
you have to understand the quarterback's cadence, and you must wait for the center you must wait for the quarterback to tell the center they're ready for the ball. As we've seen on more than one occasion.
Yep.
If the quarterback does not say hike and the center snaps it, then all heck breaks loose.
Yeah. Next thing you know, and since the referees will have this, they will put it with ESPN, and you might wind up on an embarrassing episode of Come On Man, and you will never live it down. And we're seeing.
Not only that, but you know your boys, you know your peeps and teammates in the locker room are going to give you some crap about it.
Yeah.
So you know
what's going to happen.
It's twofold. You know your teammates are going to give you grief about it. You know everybody that will be watching. Come on, man, is going to give you some grief about it.
Yeah. Stupid fouls, stupid miscues
can cost you,
and just flat out stupid things on the field is gonna make you wind up on ESPN on Come On Man and be embarrassed.
Lacking in basic fundamentals of play.
Yeah.
Can cost you.
Fair catching. Folks, here's the difference between college and pro. In college, if a receiver goes up, makes the catch, one foot is in bounds, the other one goes out, guess what? The 1 foot in bounds rule will consist it as a fair catch.
1 foot counts basically 1 foot for any part of the foot that's in bounds, knee, foot, toes. 1 foot equals 2 feet.
Yeah. And in the pros, you have to have both feet. Because if you try to catch it with 1 foot in, that's out of bounds and an incomplete catch.
Out of bounds catch all day.
And that's an incomplete pass from the quarterback.
Yep. Even though, it shouldn't be, but it is. But it is, sadly.
Yards after receiving, yards after catch.
Or as we like to refer to it in football terms as yak.
And yar.
Yeah, yaks. Yards after catches.
And yards after receiving. Now, if you're running, and now if you're catching, and you're need to touch the ground, but there ain't nobody around to stop you from moving, then by all means, get on your feet and run.
Go.
Do not do the Plexico Burst way of things. If nobody was around you, you get up and put the ball down. Guess what? You just cost yourself a fumble, man.
Yeah, you cost yourself a catch. You cost yourself some yardage, and you fumbled the football like a deuce.
All in one play.
In one play. Like Lord have mercy.
And God forbid, do not get a referee who will give you a flag after somebody gave you the business.
Yeah, like the guy number 99.
Yeah.
Where the official basically classed up the call that says personal foul number 99.
Giving him the business. While pounding his fist into his hand on national television. Open palm. Giving him the business.
And Marv Albert was on the radio, was on the TV call.
Yeah, and he was laughing to keep from crying.
I know he wasn't, he's a professional.
Yeah.
I know he wasn't laughing because he was a professional.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say the same thing about Randy Moss who went to the wrong state by mistake. Oops.
Yeah, we've already discussed that 50 million times already.
Yeah. Any rule, any stupid thing on the field you do will make you wind up on coma, man, and you will never live it down.
We will laugh about it.
You better ask Valentino. Ask Valentino Blake if you can find him, that is.
If he hasn't gone into the witness protection program by now.
He made a whopping 3 appearances on Come On Man for pointing in the wrong direction after a fumble for doubting his own team at the 1.
That's a lack of fundamentals.
Even though he was covering Alshon Jeffrey, that third one was not his fault.
Doesn't matter. Lack of fundamentals. Gotta get out of that.
Yep.
Don't care. That's on you, bro.
Yeah. Deshaun Jackson, after that pass from him from Michael Vick, he fumbled that ball at the 1 before you crossed the plane. You don't do that. That's a fumble.
Well, yeah, it is a fumble. And it's in the field of play. Now, if you would have gone to the end zone and you would have fumbled it, it would have been a touchback. But since you fumbled it in the field of play,
No, he didn't fumble it. He fumbled it before he even crossed the end zone, got into the end zone.
Yeah, that fumble was in the field of play.
Yeah. And folks, like I said, one of the main we're going to talk more depth about one of those 15-yard penalty flags, excessive celebration, aka taunting. There's no reason for it.
AKA Joe Horn acting like he had a cell phone under the pad of the goalpost.
And he actually did have a cell phone on the goalpost.
Which was actually amusing.
Or Randy Moss shooting the moon.
And Joe Buck basically called it one of the most disgusting acts he had ever seen. On national TV.
Or Terrell Owens disrespecting Dallas Cowboys Nation by taking the football, running it to the 50-yard line, and spiking it in the star.
Right, no, not in the star, on it. Right on top.
And George Teague leveled him.
Literally spiking it right on the pointed end of the star, yo.
Or if you're like AJ Green and Jalen Ramsey, you get into a world-class knockout knock him out. Rock'em Cycle Robots Raw. And turning it into Friday Night SmackDown on Sunday.
And wait, and there was another one. Josh Norman and somebody else.
Josh Norman and Odell Beckham Jr.
Those two, man. What, over a stupid chain?
No, that was Akeem Talib and Michael Crabtree.
Yeah, that one. Over a stupid chain, please.
Yep. Odell Beckham and Josh Norman have a rivalry since their days as a Giant and a Panther. But now Josh Norman was up against Derrick Henry. He don't ate his words and ate that man's glove.
And by the way, I still love the character from when Derrick Henry just basically just destroyed him. Basically told him in no uncertain terms, "Your soul is mine."
Or as Taylor Lewan would say, Jesus, I worried about that guy. You just send him into the blood box with my wife and kids. He's looking with my wife and kids right now. That poor guy.
What he did. I'll tell you what he did. When he said his soul was his, he looked inside his soul, snatched it while it was still beating, stomped on it, and showed it to him before he beat its last time.
Yeah, and Kirk Herbstreit
Destroyed his whole body.
and Brentwood native Kirk Herbstreit almost let out a curse word, but he cleaned it up. He made him his bitch. He made Josh Norman his bitch.
Oh, it's funny.
And that was on Tuesday night, folks. Josh Norman got yeeted out of his cleats by a guy who runs and eats a whole bunch of Big Macs. You make it look like you got hit by a Mac 10 pickup truck for the heck of it.
Henry don't eat no Big Macs. Derrick Henry, he devours hills, okay? This man is a freak. I mean, oh.
And yeah, we're going to add Earl Thomas and Kay Coleman from Detroit Lions, the rookie, I just got yeeted out of my cleats by Derrick the King Henry, and all I got was a lousy t-shirt. You guys, bit of advice. If a 6'7", 230-pound running back is coming at you like a train.
And by the way, one more thing. Now that they have Julio Jones and AJ Brown, you think your problems were worse then?
Yeah, you're going to be dealing with the Human Torch, because he will torch you. If you
not only that, they're 6'5", 6'6", and 6'7", respectively. Basically, what we have right now, if everything goes right, and a certain quarterback doesn't decide to screw it up.
Oh, as Rich Eisman calls them, the Fantastic Four.
Wait, who's four?
Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, Lord.
He disappears and reappears. They calling him the Invisible Man.
He's what we like to refer to as, he does well in the regular season, but when the money's on the table,
They call Ryan Tannehill Mr. the Invisible Man. They call AJ Brown Mr. Fantastic. They call Julio Jones the Human Torch because he's going to torch you. And of course they call Derrick Henry the Thing because he's going to hurt you.
They should have called him the human battering ram.
They should have called him the Human Peterbilt truck pulling a big stupid house.
No, forget Peterbilt. Let's do an 18-wheeler.
Yeah, that's what a Peterbilt is.
He's gonna run everybody over.
Yeah, and next thing you know, you're going to look up and ask, "Hey, Mom, hey, Dad, this will pick me up from school. This is going to knock you back to kindergarten."
It's going to be like...
Because a bit of advice, folks, if you learn anything from Green Bay is do the smart thing and tackle him below. Don't tackle him above because you're going to get yeeted out the club, son.
Ask the Ravens and Packers. Those are the only two teams that kept him in check.
Actually, Earl Thomas was part of the Ravens, and the last time they met, Derrick Henry made him his bitch. Yeah.
Henry against the Ravens was shut down to 53 yards.
Yeah. And
Houston, problem. No blocking. How terrible are we?
Yeah. And Houston, not only did they lose J.J. Watt, he went to the Cardinals. They let a head coach who was also the general manager do the most boneheaded
Not only
move.
that, he deserved to get fired.
Yes.
So don't forget that. They didn't ask him if he wanted to walk. He just deserved to get canned.
Yes.
Let's just call it what it
You
is.
trade away your best weapon.
To the Cardinals.
Yep. And you just lost your defensive tackle to that exact same team.
And Deshaun Watson's like, enough. How many people are you going to trade away?
And you lost your other main weapon to Denver. Admit the lawsuit's pending.
And look, 300 lives with you, Deshaun Watson had a perfect beef. Because he was losing all his guys to other teams, and he was stuck with scraps.
Yep.
So, you answer me this. What quarterback, except maybe one or two, could actually use the leftover bolts and bolt cutters
And whatnot.
tongs and everything else and a bunch of ragtags, baling wire and spit and polish and duct tape
Yep.
to make that football team work?
Yeah. And speaking of making the football team work, I think the Titans will make this work with Julio Jones. I mean, and this was after the abrupt announcement by Kevin Johnson that he was retiring before he has chose to retire. Before he can even step on the field. He chose
Keep
to.
in mind, that Julio Jones sweepstakes went a while, and then Saturday, the Falcons are like, okay, if you give us we'll give you our sixth, we'll take your second and your fourth, but all that'll be in 2023.
Nah, they took the third in next year's draft and the sixth in 2023, and the Titans got their sixth.
Yeah, they got Atlanta sixth. It took a third and a sixth. That was it. I mean, the Bears and everybody put like these elaborate packages together. It was like,
Yep, and the Titans managed to do this and stay within salary cap when they got him. Ryan Tannehill had to restructure his contract.
I think a lot of guys had to restructure.
Now, Ryan Tannehill restructured because he's now got the franchise tag attached to his own name besides Derrick Henry.
Dang. Hopefully they get some deals done.
Oh, they did the done deal and they got Julio Jones. And Julio Jones was shining.
Henry and Tannehill.
And Julio Jones was shining at Manning camp. Shining. If you want to watch him talk about it during the press conference, you go onto YouTube, type in Tennessee Titans Julio Jones press conference, and you'll find it there.
Or if you follow on Facebook, Chip White, like I normally do. You guys let us have one there too.
Yep.
From the Julio Jones press conference and yada yada yada.
Yep. And Rashawn Weaver, well, all the charges against him cleared. His contract is finalized.
So they finally got a deal done with him?
Yep.
So basically we were right the whole time.
Yep.
She lied.
Yep.
She lied.
And Cleveland Browns is going to have to do without their chief, the director chief of staff, Callie Bronson, for a while.
I wonder why.
After her DUI arrest, the Browns organization, aka Jimmy Haslam, Bill's little brother, suspended her pending her trial after her DUI arrest. And in other news, former Kansas City Chiefs linebackers coach Britt Reed pleds not guilty to vehicular assault.
And also in in sad news, the passing of Giants head coach Jim Fossil at 71.
Yep.
Early in the week.
Yep.
And did you ever figure out what Deshaun Watson and Sean McVay were trying to... Because there was a story like Sean McVay and Russell Wilson trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah, I looked it up and it still didn't make no sense to me. Because it made my head hurt trying to think about it. I would rather watch paint dry.
Or cement dry.
I would rather watch somebody get a vasectomy or a hysterectomy.
Or like Enzo Washington from Remember the Titans with the late Herman Boone in real life, who is now no longer with us. Basically told one of his players, I'm going to shove my boob so far up your John Henry hindquarters that it will take a team of surgeons to remove it.
Mm-hmm.
And he meant it.
Yep. Or like the late Gary Bertier said, boy, if you don't do your damn job, I'm going to suck you so hard. Ooh, I wish you would come too, boy. And he meant that.
Sure did.
Long after he died, after that accident during his late football season that cost him the season. And he was never able to walk again. He became a para-Olympian up until the day he died.
Nice.
And he maintained a friendship with one, Julius Campbell, and Coach Yost's daughter Cheryl, because she was the one who was coaching him.
How about that? I think.
And T.C. Williams had made history a couple of years ago when they had not one, not two, but 3 female players on their team.
Who made history? Who had 3?
T.C. Williams High School, a.k.a. the T.C. Williams Titans.
How about that?
3 girls.
Nice.
1 place kicker, 1 lineman, and 1 running back.
How about it?
There was also another school who had a female on their team. She was a defensive back, but she was the most diminutive defensive back on the face of the planet. This girl could take a hit and still get up and ask for seconds. And she comes in a nice 4-foot 8-inch package.
Not bad for a day's work.
These young ladies are doing proud.
They get a big old tip of the cap.
Yep. We got ladies who are quarterbacks. They got ladies who are running backs and ladies who are tackles. They don't want to be no kickers.
Man.
No, they show they can take a hit and give a hit.
Who wants to be a kicker?
Unless you're a former soccer player and you can kick a ball so hard it's not funny, you will kick the skin off of it.
Basically, not only kick the skin off, but you'll bust the whole ball.
Yeah.
And that was like, finish him.
Or else you might have wound up like somebody did, like Jackson Briggs did to somebody by using their arm as a baseball bat, their head as the ball, and hit the skin off of it. You heard the old saying, you're gonna hit the skin off the ball. It has been done before. It has been done. It's been done in professional baseball history. A player who hit the ball that was thrown at 95 miles an hour. This was a 95 mile an hour fastball. He hit that ball with so much force, so hard. The skin of the cover of the ball was on the ground. All you can see was the twine and the cork.
Oh, the horse hide. The horse hide. Dang.
Right out of the park. One of the outfielders only caught the outside part of the ball. The season exploded.
Like, no, where's the ball?
It's that way. What's left of it?
Yeah, what's left of it?
Dang, you don't hit the skin. Damn, you hit the cover off of it, dude. There goes another ball. Folks, balls are expensive to replace. Please be careful.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to pay out of pocket to replace a ball after you destroy it, no matter how funny it is.
It is funny.
Yep. Because if somebody actually kicked that football so hard, all you can see is the rubber inside it. Because the inside of the football is actually just the rubber inside.
Yep.
All it is a rubber part of it that's inflated, and there's a pigskin, leather sewn onto it. That's exactly what that is. That's exactly what that is. Because if you kick it, that's exactly what you're kicking. You kick a rubber right out of leather.
And then there's like those little start pins.
Yeah, because if you kick it so hard, you're going to have a leather wallet at your feet and that rubber ball over the end zone just floating away.
It's floating by my head over your head.
It's floating like a zeppelin.
It's floating like you're there. Who has one right? Except for the fact that it's leather.
And the fact that it's floating, you can't catch it.
No, it won't. It went right over your head. Boom.
Yeah.
Alright.
And finally, last but not least, Major League Baseball players, if you're going to cheat, 2 things. Don't use the practice bat, because the practice bat's got corks in it.
Yeah, Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, i.e. Kurt Vacqua.
Sammy Sosa.
Kurt Vacqua, the Texas Ranger who was a Texas cheat. He always used cork bats in every game he played. Until they caught him.
Yep.
That's why there was an asterisk to his name when he was in the Baseball Hall of Fame, because he was cheating with cork bats. And then somebody else did the same thing, except they caught on to it and they ejected him out the game after they found out that the bat broke. They found the cork when the bat was broke.
My dang.
And that's on and y'all, I'm sorry, pitchers, I'm praying for your safety. Doing 100 plus mile per hour fastballs ain't no joke to Josh. If they get stuck in your mask, just take off the mask.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I've seen a ball get. I've heard a ball get stuck on somebody's mask. They're trying to make a play on the ball.
Yeah, it got stuck in the catcher's mask. It got stuck in the catcher's mask. But don't do like Randy Johnson. Let a 150 mile an hour fastball kill a bird that crossed his path. That bird, the bird. Folks, if you saw what I saw on YouTube, you see that bird.
I heard it.
That bird exploded.
I heard it.
That bird. That was a dog. That bird is dead now. That bird exploded after the
That bird died on impact.
Randy Johnson killed a bird.
All I heard on the YouTube video when he was throwing it, all I heard was crap. And all the bird did was, immediately. It was already dead. He didn't even hit the ground. I think he died while he was in midair after getting whacked with a fastball.
And I saw and I think it was in the newspapers too. Bird dies on impact from a 115 mile an hour Randy Johnson fastball.
Come on, Randy.
That was not a fastball. That was a bullet. That bird was.
That was a dynamite explosion.
That bird was. Yeah, if you go on YouTube, that bird was toast.
That bird had no chance.
That
poor bird was stuck in midair. It's like, oh my god.
Boom! That bird was history. Well, at least it wasn't. Well, I can't say it because it will be offensive to people. At least the bird didn't say a lot. Too late. That bird ain't got nothing else to say. That bird is that bird was obliterated to oblivion. That bird was gone.
Yeah, really. That thing
Hey, little birdie, meet the big unit. Uh-oh, meet that fastball. No. Animals and sports should not go together. They are.
I can probably find it on YouTube where he does 100-mile-an-hour fastball kill a bird.
Actually, it's on YouTube still.
Why?
It's still on there.
Why?
I don't know. It's still on there. And I keep rewinding it and rewinding it. I think even the pitcher wanted to laugh. The batter laughed so hard he fell at home plate and couldn't get up. I think the umpire was shaking so hard he had to turn his head not to laugh. But he was shaking. He was shaking. He was shaking and he was laughing. Folks, you trying to let the kid, you want to let the kid from crying, you can watch a bird get obliterated by Randy Johnson in that fastball and repeat it over and over, that impact. Boom. Yeah. Boom. Yeah.
Before he could even hit the ground, bird went bye-bye.
Or if you're a football fan, you'll see a squirrel running like a Louisville football player, and you can hear the sports announcer say, yes, he could go all the way, and he's exhausted. Touchdown.
Now, literally, speaking of animals and baseball, the Cardinals had a nice little squirrel on the scoreboard.
Uh-huh.
Right before a guy was in the batter's box, and he hit a grand slam.
Yep.
And ever since they've called it the rally score. And I'm like, okay. Then the Cardinals have had some rally cats, some rally squirrels.
Yeah. But I think there was an incident with a flying squirrel was flying solo to the field that outfitter actually used his head and caught the thing. He jumped up and caught it. Yeah, and folks, but the bad thing about the only we're saying about animals in baseball, if you go to Seiko Field and you notice there is a whole bunch of hornets nests and bees nests around it, Lord knows somebody don't anger bees and hornets and wasps alike, and they're buzzing all over the place. The last time they did that, they had to cancel the game because the bees got over the camera. They were at home plates. They were in the dugouts. They were in the stands.
Yeah, and there was a spring training game. They were in the third inning, and a whole hive of bees.
Yep.
Literally came out, and basically it took them a while to get the bees out.
Yep. Now from the diamond to the hard court. If you're a basketball fan, and believe me, you went to a San Antonio Spurs game, you would have ought to realize you were sitting in the front row of a real life bat flying in that arena. And it took a mascot to play animal catcher. Guys, basically everybody was
Are you talking about the thing where Mondo Ginobili and the bat?
Yes.
Oh man. There were no words. There were literally no words to describe it.
No.
There were literally no words to describe it.
Nope.
I think Mondo Ginobili caught the thing, and I think he took its head off.
Nope.
Or something.
It was something. It was actually their mascot that caught it.
Oh, what was that? What was that mascot?
It was a fox dressed up like Batman.
Oh Jesus!
And just be glad you're not Benny the Bull, because Benny the Bull likes to be a fool. He's been covering people in popcorn, dropping TV after TV after TV. That's about $1,000 worth of TVs he don't destroy when he dropped them alone.